Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Gone Rogue. And in this episode of Gone Rogue, I am going to talk about how it is not the lack of faith. That is right. In this episode of Gone Rogue, I'm going to talk about how it's not the lack of faith on the terrible things that we have seen in the news. So, what makes me talk about how it's not the lack of faith? Because every time there is a school shooting, or a mass shooting that is, I always see these posts from my conservative friends say it's the lack of faith, not guns. Lack of faith in schools, lack of prayers in school. And I just roll my eyes and I was like, wow, these people, my conservative friends, are really lost. It's not the lack of faith. And what's unfortunate, what is unfortunate is that these people that I know can't make up their own. They don't know how to. They really don't know how to think for themselves. And I think I did a episode talking about this, how we need to think for ourselves. Because every time there's a school shooting or a mass shooting, my conservative friends always blame it's the lack of faith. I'm always like, oh my God, you can't be this serious. Lack of faith, lack of prayer, lack of God. I mean, what had happened in Texas? What had happened in Buffalo, New York? Any tragic situation like this is not the lack of faith. I mean, please tell me how more faith would have prevented these shootings or mass shootings. I'm trying to get my head around with these people out how they come up with this bullshit. I mean, like I said, I should know by now that these people can't formulate their own critical thinking. They can't formulate their own thought, can't think for themselves. But wow, you really have to be out of touch to think it's the lack of faith on why we keep seeing these school shootings. Seriously. And from my standpoint on what's going on with these mass shootings that's been happening I'm not saying that we should ban every weapon. I'm saying that there should be more ways to prevent this from happening ever again. That is right. A person who just turned 18 shouldn't be able to walk out of a gun store basically like the same day. This isn't a video game where you can walk into in Grand Theft Auto. If anyone played Grand Theft Auto, you can't. It's not like it shouldn't be like walking into a gun store and walking out on the same day. It shouldn't be like that. We need to have proper background checks, proper ways on how people who want to own a gun, and who we need to know what they plan to do with these amounts of weapons and ammunitions. I'm about to say ammunition based off a story in Grand Theft Auto, in the Grand Theft Auto video game series. Like I said, it shouldn't be that easy for an 18-year-old who just turned 18 should be able to buy a gun, an AR-15, and go ahead and shoot up a school. It shouldn't be that easy. It should not be that easy. blame Texas government for that, thinking that it should be no background checks. This shouldn't have had to happen. And it's not the lack of faith. It's not the lack of faith that this had to happen. And these people that say it's the lack of faith really need an outreach program, because not everyone believes in God. My goodness, we're in America and we can believe in whatever we want, but saying that it's a lack of faith, I can't wrap my head around thinking it's a lack of faith. So maybe I should have approached these people and say, how many more thoughts and prayers would you think would prevent these mass shootings? How many more thoughts and prayers would you think would prevent these mass shootings, more mass shootings or school shootings? I really want to know an answer if I actually have another chance. You know what their thought process is like when being confronted with my question of how many more thoughts and prayers, because no amount of thoughts and prayers would have prevented the next school shooting or next mass shooting. But it's not the lack of faith. That's our I don't know. Is it the lack of faith that this pandemic happened? Is it a lack of faith that Russia decided to invade Ukraine? Is it a lack of faith that the president that you love didn't win? Tell me more how it's the lack of faith that you can't get through life, because not everything is about faith. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't have faith in anything. I have faith, but not this type of faith where not everything is about faith. It's okay to have faith, but there's faith and there's being out of touch with reality. Like I said again, I'm not here to shun or belittle people who has faith. I have my own faith. Pretty sure you have your own faith too. It's just America. We can believe what we want to believe, but being out of touch, saying it's the lack of faith, that these lack of God, lack of morals, saying that these things keeps happening. That's not it. You're really not. That's really not it, because there is always going to be good and evil, and there are people that blame culture, and you know where they get their ideas from, falling out of touch people, out of touch elected leaders. That's all I'm going to have to say about this. Just want to get this out of my mind, out of my chest, and just tell it like it is. That's what we do here on these Gone Rogue episodes. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it on what I want to talk about. It's not the lack of faith that these tragic things that we keep seeing in the news that keeps happening. It's really not the lack of faith. So that's about it for this episode of Gone Rogue. If you like this video, please give this video a super huge thumbs up. Comment in the comment section below all you think about this episode. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure to get my other YouTube content that's on this channel. And thank you for watching Gone Rogue. And I will see you on the next one.